Imagine if you could document the entire knowledge and expertise that lives within your business without doing a single thing. Well, that's exactly what I'm showing you today. My name is Matt from the Didacte, and I'm teaching you the importance of putting in place a lunch and learn culture within your business. So if you're not familiar with the term lunch and learn, it used to be those physical events where an employee or a guest would host a session, a presentation to talk about something that's of interest to him and in the field in which he is an expert. So it's something that's more of an informal presentation, a way to socialize and share your knowledge and expertise to your peers. It used to be great. Now let's make it even better. So the whole point of putting in place a lunch and learn culture within your business is to leverage those events and this willingness to share what people know to their peers and colleagues so that they can document it. And then once it's done, it is an actual piece of content on which you can build on the future. So your business starts to be documented. So if you're not already doing lunch and learns, here's everything that you're missing out of, or at least all of the obstacles you're still facing. So at this moment, most likely that means your business is undocumented. You might have some pieces here and there, but it's not a component that's very solid within your business. Why is that? Because documenting is always stuck in that important but not urgent kind of quadrant within the business. We need to make it a priority at all time because now in this day and age, we're in a kind of an efficiency war with our competitors. Things are moving fast, so we need to document and maximize the knowledge that's within the business. It's a bandwidth issue. So it's not that you don't feel it's important, it's that you feel you don't have the capacity or you don't have, like I said, the resources to do that. We'll cover that today and debunk this whole idea of it's not at reach. You gotta stop at some point repeating yourself. And one of the reasons we want to work with Lunch and Learns is to help that. So once something is done in a Lunch and Learn initiative, then it becomes a piece of content. So you no longer have to repeat yourself on it. And it's something people can fall back on to become more autonomous, to troubleshoot themselves and just use as a guide whenever they need it. People start churning within your business because they feel like they're stagnant. So one of the main reasons people will leave a company nowadays is because they don't feel like they're evolving. Any person within the business is working with the hope of improving its current position. That might be supported with the salary, but even more so nowadays with the fact that people want to constantly be learning. They kind of have to perceive by themselves that they're in the better position today than they were yesterday. And that's where the whole point of sharing knowledge and making continuous learning a pillar of your business is really important. On the flip side now, if you do put a lunch and learn culture within your business, there's a lot of upside and opportunities waiting ahead for you. So first and foremost, now it's going to be a thing of the past. Your business institutional knowledge will be documented. Just that will be a weight off your shoulders like you won't believe it. You'll feel it and you'll be like, oh, I should have done this a lot sooner. Content creation becomes collaborative. So like I said, right now, you're most likely not doing it because it falls on the shoulders of 1, 2, maybe 3 strategic person that all have other responsibilities and roles. So reason being, it's just pushed back and ends up not being done. Switching to a lunch and learn culture makes content creation collaborative because you can either suggest topics to people, but they can also come up to you and suggest topics and titles that they are interested in covering. So from there on, it's a bottom-up structure for the documentation of your business, which makes people more engaged in the project and also makes it a lot easier to kind of build your army of content creators so that it no longer kind of halts because of a bottleneck of capacity. Innovation becomes a value once you set in place a lunch and learn culture because the whole point of doing lunch and learns is to be exposed to best practices. Best practices, but also like those little secret tips and tricks that some specific people will do that might go unnoticed, but they do make a difference. So by being exposed to, okay, I'm good at time management, but this person is a lot better than me. I want to know how he achieves that gap of performance. That's where the lunch and learn comes in, because at the end of the day, it's just to make all of these secret methodology shine to other employees so that they can, at the end of the day, just gather what makes sense to them and really have more tools and information to up their game within your business. Because of that, like I said, the engagement of the employees will go up, but also the social aspect. So now we're working a lot more from a remote perspective, so people are not physically together. So putting in place those lunch and learn initiatives will be just a social event, an opportunity to people to reconnect with one another and really have the team bond together, outside of the bonds of just working on specific projects with KPIs and pressure. As you can see, lunch and learns are something that's they're basically very deeply rooted in my belief system, because it's been a game changer for me as a person. So I do have a growth mindset. I'm a very curious person, and I really try to learn on a continuous basis as much as I can. I know that I'm not the only one with this specific profile. So you got to keep in mind that I left my job in the past because I didn't have those opportunities. I was confronted with different situations where I knew and I felt like the processes were outdated. I could contribute to the business by updating them and suggesting better ways to execute different roles and tasks, but I didn't have any opportunities. And that's the only reason why I left those well-paying jobs. So the salary isn't everything. Opportunity to collaborate and contribute to a business plays a lot in an employee's equation. This is why, even though you might have some personal biases towards it, you'll quickly see the end result, or like the waves of improvement that it generates within the business. It's gonna ripple down in your employees and the workforce. All right, so you're buying in the idea. So how do we do that? How do we implement a lunch and learn culture? It's very simple. It's a 3-step kind of approach. So first and foremost, you want to identify the opportunities, identify what's of interest for the business, but also for your employees. So there's a lot of ground to cover with lunch and learns and skills and expertise sharing. So you got to start with something that's of interest for your workforce. So whether it's from a top-down perspective, based on things that you feel you could improve within the business, might be based on KPIs, procedures, just from a philosophical standpoint, you could suggest topics to your better, basically your better employees or your managers. Okay, would you like to collaborate and create or lead basically a lunch and learn on a specific topic? But it could also be done from a bottom-up perspective. So if you really want to make this as a collaborative kind of approach, I would encourage you to identify the topics working with your employees. Your managers, if they're doing their job right, should know what are the fields of interest of each employee. From there, they could offer or suggest topics to each employee so that they can run a quick lunch and learn in the near future on the subject. That's phase number 1. We want to identify. Phase number 2 is about supporting those employees. Let's say, okay, I just sold the idea of a lunch and learn to one of my employees. How does he go about it? Well, you need to support your employees by providing them the tools, but also the time and resources to create that content. How do you do that? At the end of the training, we'll give you access to 2 different formats. One is a form so that every single employee can easily fill in the form to suggest topics and lead the way, but also a template, a presentation template. So capacity is a big issue, knowing where to start. It has to be kind of almost a fill in the blanks approach. So basically what we're going to provide you with is a template that's just, okay, here are the benefits, here are the slides. It's a linear process. They only have to edit the content and it'll be done. So you want to make it as fluid, smooth, ready to use as possible for them. So they just have to collaborate by actually filling in the information on the expertise, and the whole presentation and logistic is handled on your end. Lastly, you'll want to leverage. So like we said early on, a lunch and learn used to be a physical event. it's still something you can do. But being so remote based nowadays, you're missing out on every single opportunity if you're not filming or creating a video asset based on every single lunch and learn. So whether it's through a Zoom on a lunchtime where people just connect and it's recorded, or it's an actual social thing, an event that you do on location, but still you'll want to use your cell phone, something as simple as that, because cameras and audios nowadays are very good with something as simple as this. But you want to document it, you want to make a video content with that so that you can leverage it down the road as an actual piece of content that's creating value in your onboarding process, in your promotion process, just as a reference point to your employees, but also maybe to support managers. If an employee has issue with a task, then it's something that could be delegated to the employee to go back and revisit, because obviously there are some oversights. From there, it's just a matter of leveraging as much as you can the small pieces of content that you're going to be creating. I really do hope I managed to convince you, because this is a game changer in your business, to make sure that you're always one step ahead than you were yesterday with your business documentation and your processes and the standardization of every single thing that's executed within your business, but also making sure that there isn't any of that expertise just lingering in the head of a specific person, because that is a blind spot too often perceivable with a lot of businesses. So strategic person have to be strategic but not irreplaceable, and lunch and learns initiatives are a good way to make sure that people can contribute, have high value, but at no given point can they held the business hostage. So to leave you with this, as I mentioned, go ahead and download the form and the template for the presentation. Get working, and if you have any questions, or if you did enjoy this thing, well, look into our toolkit located on our website to make sure that you look also into other pieces of content, such as the skill gap analysis that really ties in with the lunch and learn approach, so it's easier to identify and document what people want to learn and want to teach within your business.